Hello and welcome to the What is a Teaching Assistant workshop. This workshop has been recorded in two parts and you will need to allow approximately 45 minutes to an hour to complete the workshop in its entirety. This also allows time to complete the activities. Let's look at the aims and objectives of this workshop. To understand the role of the teaching assistant and the importance of effective communication in building positive relationships, and to have an appreciation of the skills and behaviours required to fulfil this role. So we're going to have a look now at what is a teaching assistant. I'd like you to pause the video and make a few notes on what you think the role of a teaching assistant is. Okay, let's see if your answers are the same as mine. The new Teaching Assistant Standard defines the role of a teaching assistant as follows. The primary role of the teaching assistant is to support the class teacher to enhance pupils' learning, either in groups or individually, ensuring pupils understand the work set, know their learning objectives and stay on task in order to make progress. Teaching assistants promote self-belief, social inclusion, and a high self-esteem, which plays an integral part to pupils' well-being. They ensure pupils thrive in a positive, nurturing, safe environment. It is an active role supporting the learner to access the curriculum. Teaching assistants are good role models, act with honesty and integrity, take part in team meetings, and contribute to planning and class activities. They also promote fundamental British values through spiritual, moral, social and cultural development, and positive behaviours are crucial in contributing to improved pupil progress and development. So we're going to take a few minutes now to consider what does a teaching assistant do. So if you could pause the video and write down your thoughts, and then we'll come back together and go through the answers. I'm sure you have come up with lots of different answers, as the job encompasses so much and no 2 days in the classroom are ever the same. I'm now going to run through what the Teaching Assistant Standard lists. So, teaching assistants understand the need to provide feedback to support and facilitate an appropriate level of independence. They comprehend appropriate levels of learning resources to identify and help address weakness, consolidate strengths and develop individualised expectations. They recognise different stages of child development through school, e.g. transition between key stages. They recognise the importance of using appropriate technology to support learning. They work with teachers to understand and support assessment for learning, understanding the need to accurately observe, record and report on pupils' participation, conceptual understanding and progress to improve practice and assessment for different groups of pupils. They understand the school's assessment procedures for benchmarking against targets set by the class teacher and are familiar with assessment materials. They will have an appropriate knowledge of the curriculum and the context you are working in. They understand the need to keep children safe in education and are aware of current statutory guidance, including Keeping Children Safe in Education, Part 1, along with safeguarding policies and the Prevent strategy. They also understand the importance of sharing relevant information in a timely manner with the designated safeguarding lead. Also understanding the importance of first aid procedures and the recording and reporting of incidents, along with a broad knowledge of the health and safety policy. So, let's talk now about developing strategies for support. Teaching assistants develop strategies to support and encourage pupils to move towards independent learning, using appropriately varied vocabulary to ensure pupils' understanding. They embed effective behaviour management strategies using discipline appropriately and fairly in line with the school policy. They deliver interventions in accordance with training given. They foster and encourage positive, effective, nurturing and safe learning environments, inspiring pupils to take pride in and learn from their individual achievements. They recognise, adapt and respond to all pupils encompassing SEN and emotional vulnerabilities, for example, the use of Makaton and visual timetables. Let's consider communication and teamwork now. So teaching assistants work closely with teachers to ensure their own contribution aligns with the teaching. They ensure regular communication with teachers to provide clarity and consistency of their role within lessons. They will deliver and lead small group teaching within clearly defined, planned parameters using initiative, sensitivity and understanding. They will build appropriate relationships with colleagues, pupils, parents, adults and stakeholders. They will comply with policy and procedures for sharing confidential information and know when and where to seek advice. They will implement current statutory guidance, including Keeping Children Safe in Education Part 1, safeguarding policies and the Prevent strategy. They will undertake safeguarding training every 3 years, and they will also support pupils' well-being whilst embedding the importance of online safety. Teaching assistants also work with teachers to accurately assess, contributing to a range of assessment processes and use information effectively, so for example, written records. They use specific feedback to help pupils make progress and apply good subject knowledge to support accurate assessment. The use of technology is also important. Teaching assistants will use school computer systems, including specialist software, so for example, online registration and intervention programs and management information systems. They will use relevant technology competently and effectively to improve learning. They will also ensure that pupils use technology safely. Teaching assistants also problem solve and have the ability to motivate pupils by using a range of strategies, including scaffolding and open questioning skills, to enable pupils to access and engage in learning. They also recognise the difference between pastoral and academic issues and model good behaviour for learning. As you will have gathered, the role of a teaching assistant is a very busy and a very varied one. It's also an exciting role where no 2 days are ever the same. Within the resources section of your QUALS portfolio, you will find a teaching assistant folder. Within this folder there is a document called Teaching Assistant Standard. I'd like you to have a read through this document and then pause the video and write down 3 column headings, which are number 1, communication, number 2, relationships and teamwork, and number 3, reflection and evaluation. I'd like you to work through the standards and allocate each one to the applicable column. So for example, foster and encourage positive, effective, nurturing and safe learning environments, inspiring pupils to take pride in and learn from their individual achievements falls into the relationships and teamwork column. So I'll give you around about 5 to 7 minutes to complete that now. Okay, so I'm not going to read all of these out to you, but what I have done is put them onto the screen for you to just have a look at and see what falls into the communication section. And that's there's a second slide there for communication. Then you can compare your answers to the relationships and teamwork section. And finally, the reflection and evaluation section. So hopefully that's given you a really good insight into the role of a teaching assistant and the type of duties and expectations that are placed upon us every day. We're now going to move on to a team activity, and this is something that you can do at home with a partner. So if you're homeschooling your children at the moment, this will be quite a fun activity to do with your children. If you are working or studying with people from different schools or from your own school, you might want to arrange to video call them, and then you can do the team activity together. And what you'll need for this is lots of scrap paper and some sellotape, and that's all you need. And what I'd like you to do is to set 5 minutes aside and see how tall you can build a tower within 5 minutes using only sellotape and paper. So if you pause your video now and start. So I wonder how you got on with that. If you'd like to send your pictures to me, I've put an email address on the screen there, so it's nikki.woolway@gloucestershire.gov.uk, and there will be a prize for the tallest tower. When we're out of lockdown, I'll make sure that I get the prize to you. Have a think about the towers that your friends or your partner that you're working with has built. Think about what they could have done better. Consider how they could have improved their tower and how they could have improved their own contribution. If they were working with a partner, were they working as a team player? Were they sharing ideas, or were they just happy to carry on and do it on their own? So have a think about that. This is the end of part 1 of the workshop. So take a break, and then whenever you're ready, click on part 2 to access the rest of it.